In this video, there's absolute chaos into turn 1. Welcome to the video, I'm the Rev, and today I'm going to be looking to answer the question, is it possible to have a good race in the public lobbies on Assetto Corsa Competizione at Monza? Now, we all know what Monza can be like when it comes to multiplayer races. It's a race of manners, people considering their braking and the braking of others. It's a place of peace and trust. Yeah, right, we all know it can be a literal shadow around black hole. So for this video, we've jumped into the Ferrari 296, we're going to start from the back and we're going to see what kind of progress we can make. So immediately we make a position prior to the green lights as the Mercedes driver decides he doesn't want to take any part in this. I don't blame him. I'm going to keep my eye on the radar, I'm going to watch the Porsche and the Mustang goes steaming in down to the chicane, but he manages to get it stopped and not be that guy. There's contact at the chicane, I decide it's better to take the sausages, sausage 1, sausage 2 and a track limit warning for good measure and well deserved. I've now got the BMW for company as we travel down to the second chicane. Now the BMW on ACC is quite good in a straight line, probably one of the better cars in a straight line if we're being honest. The 296 not so much, but we did have a good setup for this race, so we decided that that's what we were going to use. Now bearing in mind that this is lap 1, I'm quite tentative into the chicane. Luckily the BMW doesn't go for a move and we're able to get a good exit. I'm mindful of the Lexus driver as I came across him in the practice session and he didn't want to let me overtake him in the practice session, so he's not going to want to let me overtake him in the race. We get a decent run through Lesmo 1, mistake from the Ferrari, lets us go up the inside as we approach Lesmo 2. Now I could have got a better exit if we're being honest, but I'm quite confident as we settle into the race I should be able to make some progress on the guys ahead. Having started 23rd, we're up to 15th, I don't think we can complain about that really. Now I'm watching the cars ahead as we approach the Variante Ascari. Apologies for murdering that beautiful Italian corner name with my dodgy North English accent. So we get a decent run now on the Skyline. GTR for those who are not the Gran Turismo generation, but it's a Skyline to me. Now we're going to make a judgment call now into the Parabolica. He was quite good into the Variante Ascari as in he gave room even when he made an error. So we're going to assume he's going to make the room, which he does. Fabulous. That's some advice that I should take in a lap or two. It's coming up, don't you worry. So now with my eyes firmly fixed on the back of the Lexus, giving a little courtesy look to my radar and into the mirrors, we start to make our way down the main straight and back towards the shadow realm entry that is turn 1. Now we already know from past history that the likelihood of this Lexus flooding me space is not good. The GTR is late on the brakes, never going to make the turn. Absolute carnage to the right, disappearing cars in the gravel, but we managed to get through unscathed and we can make our way up towards the back of the Lamborghini. Now we're up to P12, out to 23, that's pretty decent progress for one lap. And there's a good group of cars ahead, so I'm quite confident that we can keep making progress, especially if I can get into a rhythm and get my lap time under control. Well, later on the brakes this time into the second chicane, the Lamborghini goes defensive. I think about my exit, which I completely balls up by hitting the sausage curb on the right hand side, and now we've got a gaggle of cars going into the Lesmos side by side. This could be interesting. We managed to get a decent one on the Lamborghini and on the Mercedes. I'm watching the radar, I'm right alongside the Mercedes, who decides to turn in on me like I don't exist. Now, I think I was alongside there and I had every right, and that was my corner. There should be a replay playing now up in the right hand side, and I was massively alongside, probably half an inch maybe of his nose ahead of mine, and he decided to turn in on me like I didn't exist. But we were able to get the move done, we didn't lose a huge amount of time, and we're through the Variante Ascari back onto the back of the Lexus. Now I managed to hold on to third gear just a tad too long, touch the rev limiter, which massively compromises my run down this straight as we approach the Parabolica too wide. Now bearing in mind what happened at Lesmo 2 with the Mercedes, I have just done exactly the same thing to him as the Mercedes did to me. At the time I was up in arms, it was all the Lexus driver's fault, and then on reviewing it I was like, no, I've got no complaint whatsoever. The Lexus driver's alongside, I can't just turn in onto him like he doesn't exist. So I extend my apologies to the Lexus driver, completely my fault. And I've now got problems because I have an Aston Martin on the left and then I have the GTR on the right. Now we know the GTR driver's clean, but we managed to be late on the brakes and we get the job done on the Aston Martin. Now there was an issue ahead where the Lexus that we had contact with at the Parabolica managed to go into the back of the Lamborghini ahead, caused him to go over the sausages and he made a collision with the wall. So we're only on lap 2 of what has been quite an eventful race so far. As we can see, there's apologies being written out in the chat, which is nice to see. So, considering we started in 23rd position, we're now up to 10th. So I'd say the progress has been quite steady. I'm hoping now that with a bit of luck I'm able to settle and actually start to put some decent lap times together. A good lap time for me around Monza is probably a 1:47.8, 1:47.9. If I can get into the low 1:48, I'll be relatively happy with the pace.
15 minutes remaining, 15 minutes to go.
Jeff there with some valuable information, 15 minutes to go. Can't believe it's only been 5 minutes of this race. An awful lot has happened in 5 minutes, but that's Monza in the public lobbies for you. Now we've still got the Aston for company as we try and chase down the Lamborghini. As we go through the Variante Ascari, I notice on the right hand side there's a Ferrari. We managed to miss the Ferrari. Hopefully that's just enough to distract the Lamborghini driver. We've got a decent run, good slipstream as we approach the Parabolica. Now bearing in mind what happened a lap ago, I hang back, I don't go too wide and I concentrate on the exit. So we take a tight line, the Lamborghini's a little eager on the throttle and we manage to get the move done out to the Parabolica. The Aston Martin also comes past, so we continue to have the Aston Martin for company. At this point, I've done my fastest lap of the race, which is a 1:49.3, and that's not good enough. We need to settle down. The Aston Martin doesn't go for a great big dive bomb, and we manage to get it stopped into the first chicane. He gets quite close on the exit, but we get a good drive out, and we can start to try and make some headway into the cars in front. Skipping ahead now into lap 3, the Lamborghini ahead with a sub-optimal line through the Variante Ascari, and we managed to get a run and get the job done. However, compromised exit means I'm going to have some company from the Aston Martin into the Parabolica. The Aston Martin driver seems to think better of it, lifted, and we're going to get a decent drive through the Parabolica. So as you can see in the corner, we've got a green sector and we're about to do our best lap of the race. Hopefully this should be within the 1 minute and 48, but it needs to be a low 1:48 really. 1:49.1, still not good enough. So we skip forward into lap 5, we've still got the Aston Martin for company and we've managed to claw our way up onto the back of the BMW. As you can see in the top left, we've managed to get the lap time down to a 1 minute 48.6 and that'll have to do. Now the BMW gets on the curb, compromises exit out of the second Lesmo, and we've got the outside onto the straight as it's a straight drag now to the Variante Ascari. With the 296 just had enough this time for the BMW and we get the job done prior to the chicane itself. So it's now time to get after the fellow Ferrari 296 driver up ahead. Look up in the top left. We're 3/10 up on our best time of a 1:48.6, so this, failing any massive issues into the Parabolica, should be the best lap of the race for us. So it's a pretty tight line. We managed to get in the power quite early, and this should be a low 1:48 with a bit of luck. 1:48.3, I'll take that. Very good information there, Jeff. Thanks very much. I've no idea if his name is Jeff, I just call him Jeff. So on lap 6, with 8 minutes of the race to go, we've managed to get ourselves from 23rd up to 6th. It says 7 of 25 underneath that in the top left, because there is a car that's a GT2 car in this race, so we are currently 6th in class and 7th overall. Now all we can do with the Ferrari driver in front is try to catch him and put the pressure on. He's taken way too much of the sausage, he's lost the rear and he's gone. And that is position 5. So again, making decent progress. I skip forward now to the end of lap 7. We're through the Variante Ascari once again and we've got another BMW in our sights. We've got a car off, left hand side, he decides not to bother. The Mustang with his indicator on, very gentlemanly, like it. This is going to be a fairly decent lap, another 48. We've managed to get that lap time down to a 48.1. I'll take that. And we're relatively close to that now as we close in onto the back of the BMW. Now we've got a decent run, got a bit of slipstream. Let's see what we can do into the first corner. Now he indicates to the right and he's completely trying to have me off as he has no intention whatsoever of leaving me the space. He gets off the brake, he's far too deep, and we're both forced to go over the sausages. Now a sausage overtake is not something that I want, so I let him go. You can have that position back, live to fight another day, and we'll go again. I'm quite confident that I've got the pace to get the job done in the last 4 minutes of this race. There was a brief yellow flag up ahead, but we're back to green and I can concentrate on trying our best to catch the BMW. Too much sausage into the second chicane, compromises the exit, and the BMW manages to streak away from me. Now this is something that I need to work on within my racecraft. If I miss the apex or mess an exit up, then I'll do the same thing on the next corner as I try and chase that lap time, so the lap gradually gets worse. I need to drop the corner that I made the error on and move on and concentrate on hitting those apex and getting those exits right. That's something that I need to work on within my racecraft, because at this moment in time it's not good enough. As you can see in the top corner, I've lost 2 seconds on this lap. Now I know that we had the issue with the BMW at turn 1, but I still could have done much better. Through the Variante Ascari, I managed to get a little bit of a skid from the rear. I caught it, but again, it's little errors that are allowing the BMW to have that kind of breathing space ahead of me. We are up to 5th, 6th overall. Out to 23, I'd say we're doing pretty well. Now all we can do is stay behind the BMW, stay in the slipstream, and hope that we can make this lap a better lap than the last and get back onto the back of the BMW. So I'm looking to the left hand side, I'm looking for the braking markers. The 150 metres just after, we're onto the brakes, trailing the brake as we enter the apex, and we managed to get a really good exit compared to the BMW who went deep. So now it's going to be a straight drag race between the BMW and the 296. As I said before, the BMW is better in a straight line, but because of the exit we got, we're going to have a decent opportunity into the second chicane. As you can see, we're alongside and the BMW decides to turn in anyway. There's contact between us, there's contact again on the exit, I've nowhere to go, into the gravel, and the BMW spins out. And we still have the Aston Martin for company, as you can see in the news. Now it'll be interesting to know your thoughts on that collision within the comments. Personally, I thought he turned in on me. Again, I put the replay in the corner on the right hand side and showed that we were both alongside one another and the BMW turned in. Now, as you've seen, I'm happy to admit when I've done something wrong. I was completely at fault for the accident with the Lexus into the Parabolica, and I have no excuse. But like the contact with the Mercedes, I'd say I was alongside and it was my corner. I can't just disappear and I can't just lift off and allow everyone to take the corner, otherwise there'd be no point in the race. So we managed to get ourselves up to 4th. We've still got the Aston Martin behind us. He's been with us virtually from lap 1, and we'll see if we can hold on to this 4th going into the final 1 minute 30 of the race. Please do let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about any of the moves or any of the contact that you've seen in this race, as I'm always looking to improve, and I can only do that by people giving me feedback, and I'll take that feedback on board. So I'm watching the Aston Martin, he's gone deep, I'm on the inside, and we're looking at the radar, we know that we're clear, and we've just got to concentrate on the exit. The Aston Martin driver is faster than us, he's been with us the whole race. So I'm going to skip ahead to the end of lap 10, and you can see in the mirror that the Aston Martin had kept that pressure on for the entire lap. So we're coming towards the Parabolica for the second to last time, as the leader is now on the final lap. I take up the right hand side of the track, I'm going to defend my position, he goes to the left, leaves me some room, I head towards the left so that I don't compromise my exit into the Parabolica. It's tight, I managed to get on the power just before the Aston Martin driver, which gives me a little bit of a better drive out and onto the straight. He stays up behind me in my slipstream as we go over the start finish line, and he's lifted off. He's lifted off. He thinks that the race is over as the timer at the end has finished. However, there is still one more lap. There is still one lap, and he has lifted off. This is obviously a massive error from the Aston Martin driver. However, we're not complaining as it gave us a pressure-free lap to come towards the end of the race, and that's fourth. So I'd say that was a pretty decent race on ACC at the public lobbies at Monza. So thanks very much for your time. I've been the Reverend. Thanks for watching.